You are Locked On Knicks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, let's do it. At one point in San Antonio tonight, the Knicks trailed by 28. At one point in San Antonio tonight, the Knicks looked like they might overcome that 28-point deficit, but in the end, the mountain just too high to climb. Spurs beat the Knicks in Texas 120-105. That, despite a team-high 32 from Karl Anthony Towns. He was brilliant, but as we said, not enough. The shorthanded Spurs knocked down 16 three-pointers. No rest for the weary now. New York travels to Charlotte. They face the Hornets tomorrow night. So from San Antonio to Charlotte, let's do it. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me, as always, on X at Jay Berman. Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks Postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The Postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. No Victor Wembanyama, no De'Aaron Fox tonight for San Antonio. Obviously, no Jalen Brunson for New York as he continues to rest from that sprained ankle. Despite all the absences, San Antonio was able to capitalize on plenty of Knicks mistakes, specifically in the second half, specifically in the fourth quarter. We will break it all down. All that coming up on the Postcast. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. As we said, 120-105, the final score. The Knicks, believe it or not, got 9 consecutive points to start the game from Karl Anthony Towns. If you recall, in the last game at the Garden against Miami, at one point in the second quarter, Karl Anthony Towns on his own scored 15 consecutive points. Well, once again, Cat added tonight. Right out of the gate, scored the first 9 Knicks points on 4 for 4 from the field to start. So excellent start for Cat. As we said, he finished with 32. That was a team high. However, as we said, it was a game of runs. The 9 points that Cat scored to start the night for New York was followed by, get this, folks, 14 consecutive missed shots by the Knicks as a team. It turned into a 16-1 San Antonio run. We have our first and second runs of the night, as are much of the games in the NBA. It really is a game of runs. While we already had 2 quick ones early, and just like that, the Knicks trailed by 9 after 1 and 24 at the half. What's interesting is at one point, the Knicks trailed by 28. They've never come back from a 28-point deficit. So that would have been history. The Knicks got close in the third quarter, but could not seal the deal in the fourth. As we said, 14 consecutive missed shots. So that was really run number 2. We'll start with Cat's run to start the game, 9 consecutive points. Then that was followed by a 16-1 San Antonio run. What's interesting is at the half, as we said, the Knicks were down 24. Well, perhaps some halftime adjustments. The point got across to the players because the Knicks started the third quarter on a 22-6 run, and they trimmed that deficit all the way down to single digits. But that's as close as they would get because of our old friend Sandro Mamukelashvili, the former Seton Hall product, scored 34 off the bench. Mamu, a career high 34. 13 of 14 from the floor, missed one shot, connected on all 7 3-pointers. Remember, folks, this is a bench player averaging single-digit points per game, having an absolutely memorable night. 34 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, did not commit a turnover, and as we said, missed just one shot the entire night. And these weren't dunks, folks. These were 3-pointers. In fact, 7 of them. As we said, 16 of 35 from 3 for San Antonio, a cool 46% from 3. Just terrible defense there from New York. As for the threes from the Knicks, they connected on 11 of 37. Obviously, percentage not there. Just 3 from Deuce McBride, 2 each from OG and Karl Anthony Towns, 3 from Cam Payne, and 1 from Mikal Bridges. That was it. As for the numbers from the Knicks starters, Mikal Bridges had 14, obviously coming off a season-high 41 versus the Spurs back on Christmas Day. Again, the Knicks and Spurs only played twice, one in New York and one in San Antonio. If you recall, they had the first game on Christmas Day. The Knicks won. Bridges scored a season-high 41. Well, not much of the same tonight. He had 14, as did OG. And again, 32 for Karl Anthony Towns, who had 9 rebounds as well. As for Mitchell Robinson, he played 17 minutes tonight, but they were effective minutes. 13 points and 11 rebounds. His first double-double since returning. And he was a plus in the plus-minus category when all 5 starters were minus. Josh Hart was a minus 26. What's interesting about that is, if you recall, against the Heat a couple of nights ago, Josh Hart was a plus 31. Of course, he had the triple-double, his 8th of the season. But again, not much of the same tonight. Connected on just 1 field goal. Josh Hart had 2 points. So if you recall, 2 games ago, he had none. Then he put up the triple-double. Well, back to quietness, if you will. 2 points tonight for Josh Hart. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. So he certainly did play well defensively. Not that any other Knick did. But again, some impressive performances, at least off the ball stuff, like Mitchell Robinson, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds. Now, unfortunately for the Knicks, despite the fact that there was no Victor Wembanyama for San Antonio, well, the Spurs out-rebounded the Knicks 52-44, and it wasn't even that close. In the first quarter, the Knicks were being out-rebounded by double digits from really most of the night. So again, not a good performance from the Knicks defensively, certainly not on the glass as well. Again, 120-105. Knicks are now 43-25, 21-14 away. Now, obviously, these are not going to affect the standings that much because the Knicks seem like they're firmly in that 3 spot in the Eastern Conference, with the Cavs at number 1 and the Celtics at number 2. But again, these are alarming games. Ones that, without the effort of Karl Anthony Towns tonight, would have been a 30-point blowout. Obviously, you can't subtract guys, but Karl Anthony Towns played 35 minutes in what was a 120-105 Knick defeat. So through 67 games, the Knicks still have their best team record in nearly 3 decades. Again, through 68, they're 43-25. The last time they were this good through 68 games was 28 years ago, folks. That was last millennium. How about that? As we said, Mamu went off tonight for the Spurs. 34 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. We'll go over the rest of the numbers when we return on the other side. Again, Knicks travel to San Antonio and lose. Now they get a chance to travel to Charlotte and win. We'll discuss it all coming up. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in awarded winnings, PrizePicks makes it easy and fun to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Here's how it works. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. And if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. This week, I'm looking at that board, and selecting more for Jason Tatum on points and more for Luka Doncic on assists. The best part, PrizePicks keeps it simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds, and they're fast. Secure withdrawals mean you get paid quickly when you win. Plus, their Taco Tuesday promo gives you discounted player projections for even more value. Check out the promo tabs to tell any of the super sweet Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, when it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have the time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, and then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle as well. But everything changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommend meals and groceries based on my tastes and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein and gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver and has made healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that code is LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. All right, final segment of the show. The Knicks go to San Antonio and pick up a loss, 120-105, and it was ugly from the beginning, with the very quick exception at the outset of Karl Anthony Towns scoring the first 9 points. Proved to be a disastrous night from there, with one more exception. A 22-6 run to start the third quarter got the Knicks down from 28 into single digits, but it's as close as they would get. The Spurs kicked it back up to double digits and pulled away, thanks a bunch to Mamu, who scored 34 off the bench, our old Seton Hall pal, who, believe it or not, and the story was told several times on the broadcast tonight, believe it or not, was born in New York City. Despite that, 34 points on 13 of 14 shooting. They could not get a hand in his face, and he made them pay, including 7 of 7 3-pointers. All right, as for the schedule, the Knicks, no rest for the weary, as we said, tomorrow night from San Antonio to Charlotte. Not only that, it's an hour earlier start time, at least locally. The Knicks started tonight at 8 Eastern time. They will start at 7 Eastern time tomorrow night in Charlotte. Obviously, the Charlotte Hornets are not a very good team, so this comes at a good time. However, what will also work for the Knicks in their favor is the fact that they are going to come home. They're going to play 3 more games after the Charlotte game at home. Washington on Saturday, Dallas on Tuesday, the Clippers on Wednesday. So finally, some home games, a prolonged set of games at home. In fact, they'll play 5 of the next 6 after the Charlotte game at home. So that'll certainly be sight for sore eyes, the Madison Square Garden floor. Again, 120-105. Mamu had 34, 32 for Karl Anthony Towns. Mitchell Robinson, as we said, had 13 and 11 in the loss. Again, 120-105 was the final score. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also want to mention our partners in crime, Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf. You know them as the All-Stars. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Knicks, so follow, subscribe, and enjoy. We will be with you tomorrow night, immediately following Knicks and Hornets from Charlotte. Again, tonight they lose 120-105. Knicks now 43-25 overall, 21-14 away. Until tomorrow night, we love you. Stay safe. And again, we'll see you in about 24 hours.